Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to be doing an unboxing on this ASG CZ 805 BREN A1. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing, because those interactions help the channel get seen by the YouTube algorithms and help the channel grow. If you want to support the channel a little bit more, down below there is a join button that enables channel memberships, 99p a month, totally optional, really appreciated, and you get your own videos, bloopers and your own giveaways. Last but not least, Linktree link down below will take you to all of my socials, including my Discord. So big thanks to Dan Pajamas on my Discord for buying this and let me unbox it and disassemble it for the channel. So this is a ASG CZ 805 BREN, and we've got the A1 version in here, and it's a pretty damn long boy, I'll be honest. So at first I wasn't 100% convinced by this, excuse me, but I've had it out of the box for a good sort of 20-30 minutes and it's really growing on me really quickly. I'm excited to go and see how well it performs. So the box itself then is actually a pretty nice box. I'm quite impressed. It's got a nice cool image. Apparently we've got a MOSFET built in, we've got a quick change spring, excuse me, ambidextrous selector, just obviously a little bit about what it is, a little bit about the sort of different materials on there and stuff. So quite a nice little box, and it is blank underneath. So let's get this open and see what's inside. So we've got, so we picked this up from Land Warrior Airsoft, and we paid about £310 for this, plus delivery, plus £20 for the magwell conversion, which I'll discuss shortly. So they've got a chrono sheet in here, so they're quoting it at about 300 FPS on a blaster point 2. So we'll obviously counter check that with my chrono as well. And then we've got a rather glossy, nice manual there, talking you through all the parts of the AEG, how to install the battery, which is a little bit of a pain, I'll be honest. Operating the mag, changing the spring, the fact that they even show you a quick change spring system easily, it's pretty cool. How to do the cheek rest adjustment is pretty nice, although it does look quite complicated to adjust it all. Switching charging handle side as well. So they've really sort of put some effort into this, adjusting the hop, and a little bit about what you to use in it in terms of ammo and things like that, accessories and stuff. So fairly nice manual. We've got some nice white foam packaging there, and there she is. Now I'm going to be honest, it's quite pretty good actually. It's growing on me immensely. I do quite like that there is a lot of real estate to accessorize on. So in here we've got our 550 round high cap mag. We've got our very long boy BREN, which is quite an impressive length, fairly weighty as well, and I think that is everything. No unjamming rod or anything in there. That said, most people these days end up with that many of them anyway, from all the different guns. It's probably not a bad thing to not include it. So just put that down. Now that is pretty damn long. So we have got a significant amount of sort of room there for all sorts of things. So we'll start at the front of the work pack. We've got quite a cool stroke, different looking muzzle brake. It looks like it's an adapter with a muzzle brake on it. So that's quite chunky and unusual. We've then got our sort of front, I was going to say front sight, but it's not, it's a gas block system onto our flip up sight, which I'm guessing is, push button. Oh, I like that. I do like that. So spring loaded, ambidextrous as well, so you can push it from either side to release that. That is quite nice to, I could see myself messing with that quite a lot. The rear sight is exactly the same, and see if we can get down those sights. There we go, oh, near enough. There we go. So those sights are not too bad actually, and you can adjust it, and it can be flipped over for a wider aperture sight as well, which is probably what I would go with to make my aiming a little bit better and easier. So back to the front then. So we've got metal rails on all four sides. We've got a very, very long top rail, which is numbered, going up in twos. Same with the side rails as well, going round. The bottom rail is not, but they are all metal. In fact, the whole thing, the whole upper is metal, which adds the majority of the weight to it as well. So we've got the CZ805 BREN branding, designed in Czech Republic. It's quite a hefty piece. Bizarrely, I didn't think so it would at first, but it shoulders really, really comfortably when I get in there. So we've got our ejection port, which acts as our hop unit, which is roll up to add hop, and it's quite a stiff, firm adjustment as well, which is quite reassuring that hop is not going to unwind easily, if at all, during gameplay. We've got our polymer magwell, polymer lower as well with our selector, which doesn't authoritatively click into place, but it does feel firm and it does take a good push to get it to move. I do think, particularly going back to safe, you're possibly going to quite easily catch that during gameplay, so just something to watch out for there. Now it does quote 1.4 joule. This is definitely not the 1.4 joule version. This is the lower power version. Excuse me. Which obviously the chrono sheet has already identified. Then obviously got the rest of the pistol grip at the bottom there. And then coming on to our stock, so it is a folding stock, which clicks around to the side quite happily and clicks back into place. Now in terms of the upper and lower receiver, there is no movement in that. It is literally absolutely rock solid. In terms of the stock, little bit of tiny movement, and it is folding and adjustable, and it's 4 positions in there, all numbered up for you, so you can see nice and easily where you're going. And obviously the cheek rest is adjustable as well, flipping it to the opposite side if you are a lefty. The charging handle is also adjustable and can be removed and put to the other side as well, which is quite handy. And obviously you've got your ambidextrous selector. And your battery compartment is behind the stock. And to change it, this body pin has to come out here. Pull that out, and then the stock assembly comes up, and the rest of this assembly comes down. And there is your battery space in there. And if I pull this wiring out rather carefully, there is your MOSFET. So it is just a simple little MOSFET, and that is your battery space right in there. So I will, excuse me, I will do a little bit of a check towards the end of the video of what kind of batteries I'm going to get in there. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and chrono it and range check it and see how well it performs. And I will see you in a second. So 261 minimum, 291 the highest, and an average of 286. Rounds a second, it's the mag that's not wound fully. About 15 rounds a second. Ooh. About 19 rounds a second. Wow. The mag's not even keeping up. About 23 rounds a second. BREN M4 mag and magwell, single shot, full auto. Nice. Double shotting on 11.1 though. Okay, so I am back from the chrono and range checking everything. So in terms of range then, it was definitely putting out to 40 metres. I did find, as you'll see from the chrono test, occasionally there were a few missed feeds that just didn't feed. And I did find that when I filled the mag up, because it is a high cap, and to obviously fill it, you got a little hatch on top, you pull it back and flip it open, you pour your BBs in, and there's a winder underneath. Make sure you keep that upright to obviously wind it up to the top. I found that when I got it fully wound, and it was doing the click that indicates the spring's fully wound, sometimes the retainer at the top would ping a few BBs out of the top. So occasionally there were feeding issues where it just wasn't feeding. And it is a proprietary mag, so that is unique to the BREN, so that only those ones will fit, which is where the AR mag adapter comes in, which I'll discuss shortly. So that, by the by, the range itself then was really decent. I was pretty happy with that and fairly consistent as well. It was shooting out easily over 40, and I didn't even seem to have to put that much hop on to get 2.5s to hop, so I'm pretty sure it would hop heavier BBs. Similar to a TM, obviously, because you've got that lower FPS, the BBs will still go a good range, but they're just going to be slow to get there. So it's obviously something to compensate for when you're in a firefight. In terms of rate of fire then, we got about 14 rounds per second on the 7.4, which is pretty damn respectable. And it felt pretty happy actually at that sort of level. On an 8.4 volt NIM, it was doing about 15.5 rounds per second or thereabouts. Again, just felt a little bit snappier, but I'm not sure if I would run a NIM on it longer term with the MOSFET. I just feel like it would be happy with the LiPo. With the 9.6, then it jumped up to 19 rounds a second. At this point, I was like, ooh, it's getting a little bit exciting now. And it seemed to come alive a little bit, actually, at the 19 rounds per second mark. So I was quite happy with that. And then at 11.1, it was bordering on like frightening almost. But that's also where we saw a lot of, or quite a few of the feeding issues was at that, particularly at that higher rate of fire, 11.1, where it was giving me about 23. I suspect it might have been a little bit more, but the mag was just misfeeding a little bit at that point. So all of those were done with a hop off. In terms of the chrono then, in terms of FPS, I was getting 261 to 291 FPS, so like a 30 FPS variance, but it averaged out at 286 FPS. Now, because it is brand new, I would expect some variance, and I would expect that will settle down probably to around the average of about 286, maybe a touch lower. Apply your hop, possibly about 270. If you're going to play in CQB, particularly in the UK, we have maximum 350 FPS limits in the UK with a 0.2 gram BB. So that is going to be ideal, especially for a CQB environment where you're not going to hurt anybody, but you're going to have sort of a high rate of fire and people are going to know the hit without causing any real damage or anything. Obviously, the length of it may not be conducive to a CQB environment, but it's just something to think about in and amongst it all. So that mag then was misfeeding a little bit. So as part of this, Dan decided that he wanted the AR mag adapter because at first he'd not realised that the actual mag itself was proprietary. And so I did highlight to him that actually the mag needed to be proprietary and we needed one of these magwell adapters. So we fit this and I ran 3 different mags in it. I ran a Nuprol M4 high cap. I ran a SEMA M4 high cap and I ran a KWA mid cap in it, and all fit and all fed better than the included high cap that came with it. So they all fit and fed. I have got the footage, and you did see the footage of the Nuprol high cap being fired through it because I actually remembered to record that one. So obviously keep in mind, if you have got AR mags about, one of these magwell adapters is probably a good shout as well. This one is also ambidextrous as well as the normal magwell. So you've got a button on the right hand side, you've got the button on the left, and you've got an extra button at the top there, which I thought a second ago was releasing it, but it's not. It turns out it's just for show, and I'm just convinced myself of utter tripe. Never mind. The main difference with this going on, and I will show it in the pictures at the end, is that you lose this mag release here, which actually is possibly one of the most convenient mag releases that I have ever seen. That when that is in there, just being able to drop it, and it even comes out nicely as well for you to grab that mag and drop it out. So I did like that, and it's a shame that couldn't be left on there, but I get that it's sort of got to come off. What I will say as well is it is a very, very snug fit getting that on there, and I had to tap it on gently to sort of with a rubber mallet just to get it on, but it was just a gentle tap, and it sort of eased its way in, and it locked into place. So to change it over, this pin comes out, just push pin, again quite stiff, that comes out, and this pin here needs tapping out with a punch. Once that's off, this magwell slides out, the new one slides in, and you put the 2 pins back in, and that's it, quick and easy, and you're done and finished. In my opinion, I would ditch the proprietary and I would go for AR mags that you've probably got laying around. Probably cheaper, and from what I've seen so far, they feed better. So in terms of batteries then in the stock, it is a compact, tiny little space in there. So I'll pull the battery out. I feel like that's going to be a point of weakness here, just on this wiring, that's sort of quite almost being bent round a lot. So I do worry about that a little bit, and it's not like this gives it a lot of room either. You know, it has to fit in behind this block, which goes quite deep into this section here. So obviously it's something to think about there. So just showing you the mags then. That is the normal 7.4 2200 milliamp LiPo that I used for my chrono checks for my rate of fire, and that, let's have a look, doesn't go in. At that point it's starting to get wedged in there now, so that can't go in there, so that's no good. I've got a very long 1200 milliamp 7.4 volt. That does very happily go in there and all the way down to the front. As you can see there, that is a very long battery with quite a long cable as well, and it does go all the way down there. So that's an adequate and suitable fit. I've also got a shorter, thicker 1200 8 Pheas LiPo. Again, that will go in quite happily and all the way down. Next, I have got an 1100 milliamp 11.1 Nupol LiPo as well, and I am pretty certain, move the wiring out of the way. Oh no, wait, there we go. That does fit. It needs a little bit of jimming just to get in past the entrance. Once it's in, it did go in happily and slid down, so I would be quite happy. Actually, it stopped there, literally just about an inch inside. Let's see if we can get it in any other way. No, it's not actually having that at all. No. So actually, that's not going to fit at all. So you are literally stuck to either, and I will put a link to this and these two LiPos in the description down below, but you're going to need something even slimmer than that. Literally hair stuck to it. You're going to need something slimmer than that if you want to run an 11.1 on it as an everyday battery. So it's quite a compact battery space in there. I do worry that this is potentially going to be a weak point of weakness, because that is your little MOSFET circuit board under there, and if you are bending it around like that a lot to get in around to your battery, I do feel like that's possibly going to be damaged before too long. I do like, though, that this quick change spring is actually quick change. Once the spring's off, you can literally just quarter turn you remove this screw, and then there's another bit underneath that's quarter turn, and it all comes out, and you can quick change, which we'll look at in the disassembly. So to put the stock back on then, this block goes back in, and our push pin goes back in. Tiny little bit of play in that, and then our stock comes down from the top and clicks into place, and suddenly it's a lot more solid. Little bit of play in the stock, but I am pretty happy with that, and actually the more I handle it, the more I actually like it. One thing I will say before I go to the gloved operations is some of these corners are quite sharp. So if you are playing bare-handed, expect to catch and sort of shred up your hands a little bit. They're not going to feel the greatest by the end of a game day. So moving on then into the gloved operation. I even did a little theme tune then. You can tell I'm tired. So pulling on my gloves, thanks to the guys on my Discord, particularly Lawrence, for suggesting the gloved operation. So let's have a look. The sights, I can easily mess with the sights all day long. In terms of the mag, I can easily get that out. Wrong mag release. God. I'm back in again. In terms of refilling this mag, yeah, I can get that in there. I can easily wind that magazine as well, so I'm happy with that. The selector, very easy to move with my gloves on from either side. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Either side I can do that with. And then in terms of the stock, I can easily fold it, lock it back out. I can easily adjust it as well. That's easy enough. Taking the stock off. That's easy. I think I'm going to struggle a little bit. I ain't got the dexterity quite to get the wire out, so I'd probably just take my gloves off anyway, just to make life easy on myself at that point. So that sort of brings us to the end of it then. So you've got a basic MOSFET in there, you've got a quick change spring. It is a version 3 gearbox that's in there. Proprietary mags with some feeding issues. This was £310. It was the last one that we could actually find in the UK at the time at all. So I don't know if they're going to restock these anywhere or not. I am pretty impressed actually. I wouldn't even change the FPS, I don't think. I think I'd just leave it as it is. I am excited to do a bit of a disassembly on it just to see what it's like internally. But overall, I am pretty damn pleased with this and enjoyed it. I do think that the M4 mag adapter is an essential accessory to go with this because I just don't think those are good enough. But in general, I mean, maybe that will bed in. Maybe it will bed in and it will get better. If you do on one of these, the BRENs, and you're running the mags, do they get better at feeding? Have I just been unlucky? You know, am I being quite unfair here? Have I been unlucky? In terms of the value for this, I feel a little bit like, if you're looking for something that's an M4 but not an M4, then this is probably quite a good choice to go and get. Because it is quite different, but it's still quite AR type looking. The other thing, I just remember, the muzzle brake was an absolute pain to get off. And as you can see, there are marks there where I've had to get the grips on it. That was an absolute pain to get off. So just keep in mind that that is going to be a pain to get off if you're going to switch it to another muzzle device. Pretty cool little package. I'm not convinced about the pricing of it. I do think that there could have been more, or I think there could have been sort of lower in cost or a bit more for your money in that box, maybe an extra mag or something like that. But I did quite enjoy it. I do find it's really quite comfortable. The selector's convenient. You know, it feels nice to hold and carry it other than the sharp edges. It is pretty cool and it is pretty different. And it does perform well. The rate of fire is good as well. So I'm quite happy with that in general. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I will leave the usual photos at the end. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.